Hello, everybody. Welcome back to my live stream. My name is Nancy, and I'm your friendly PM coach. I'm joined by Angela Harinik today, who is a master teacher, to help us find our inner leadership mindset. And when I reached out to Angela, I was thinking, I've been talking to so many of you who've been struggling to find peace, especially these days when tech companies are going through a lot of layoffs. It's been happening for more than a year, and it's still happening. And it's this powerless feeling that is disheartening for everyone involved, whether or not you're laid off or not. And it leads to a lot of worries, a lot of anxiety. And I was thinking, Angela could be someone who could really help us in this unsettled time. So, Angela, tell us a little bit about yourself and the work that you do.
Well, first off, thank you, Nancy, for inviting me here. I have been doing this kind of work for almost 30 years. And when I say this work, I mean the mind training that I'm going to talk about. And so when somebody's getting anxious or depressed or allowing their mind to run their life, we've got to reverse that. We've got to reverse that.
What does that mean when we allow our mind to run our life?
Okay, so you've got a heart and you've got a brain, right? And we allow usually our thoughts. Mind, you know, when I talk about mind, I have actually a Buddhist interpretation of that, which is the brain and the heart mixed together. But most of the Western world uses their brain to make decisions. And that's backwards, meaning we have to make our decisions from our heart and then use the brain to discern variables. This is the master. The heart is the master. The head is the servant of the master. And most of the West has gone down this road to self-destruction using the head, only the thoughts to get us to where we think we want to go. And as you so aptly put it in the beginning introduction, people are very anxious.
Yes.
They're depressed. All their emotions get the better of them. And then they follow the emotions, or they indulge in the emotions, or they indulge in the thinking that causes the emotions. And they believe it.
Right.
So the work that I have been doing is to slow down the thoughts, so much so that I can see them. And then I have space between them. And then we rest in space between the thoughts and make better decisions. Now, that takes a lifetime of practice.
Yeah.
The first thing, though, to know is that we can separate from our thoughts. We are not our thoughts. We are not our feelings. We're having them. We're having them. So that also, it's training. It's mind training.
Yeah.
So that's what I mean, you know, I've spent 40,000 hours in meditation looking at this mind, crazy thoughts, conditioning, beliefs, operating system. And I give the analogy, and I'll use this a couple of times because people may come on at different points. Because you guys are working in tech, you understand software, right? You understand operating systems. It's exactly the same. Meaning that you either have an operating system, which is your foundation. You know, you've got a Microsoft iOS kind of thing, or you've got an Apple. You got these two frameworks. It's the same for the mind. We either operate from love or we operate from fear. They're operating systems completely at the grassroots. Then we have programs that we put in to the operating systems from childhood all the way up. So the programs that we have been fed unconsciously, starting in childhood, are you got to be a good girl, you got to be a good boy, you know, don't talk too loud, you know, little boys don't feel, little boys don't cry. This is the software programs that have been put into us.
Right.
Not only from our parents, but from schools, from society, from culture, from, our schooling, all of it. And it goes in 0 to about 18 years of age. Then after 18, we got to decipher what we want actually to become. But most people don't ever get there. They just go with the programs.
Do the programs play a huge part in why we think a certain way and the emotions that come up? It's from the programming.
100%. So, in the old days, we used to have floppy disks that we would put into our computer. We put in a we put in a Word program. We put the floppy in, right?
Yes.
And the floppy would run the program, and you do what you need to do. And then you take the floppy out and you put a new one. You put an Excel in, right?
Yeah.
It's exactly the same. So you wake up in the morning. What program are you feeding yourself first thing in the morning? Is it, oh my God, I got to rush and hurry and brush my teeth and get out the door and I'm late. That's a program. Or do we put the program in of, okay, I'm going to get up. I'm going to have a cup of tea. I'm going to sit quietly. I'm going to light a candle and I'm going to gather my mind.
Right.
It's software.
How does that change how we behave and how does that change our day?
Okay, so I don't know about the machinations of computers, but I do know the machinations of mind. So it's all neurological. These are synapses in the brain.
Yeah.
All right. So if we're operating on one program, which is the hustle program, let's call it.
Yeah.
Certain synapses are going off. You have, they're actually like grooves in a record within your brain, electrical impulses, okay, that are in a groove. And if you want to change the program, say I want to now have a meditation program first thing in the morning, you can't overwrite that program. You can't overwrite the hustle program, but what you can do is create a new program within the biology, the neural pathways of your brain. So you have to start, and again, it's like grooves in a record. So the first time you put the program down, on the, let's use the record analogy, and like you're putting the disc down and you got a needle and you're entrenching it into the vinyl. It'll be there once, but the groove isn't thick enough. It's not deep enough.
Okay.
So you got to do it day after day after day. So then you have new synapses in the brain going off. And you always have a choice. You see, you can go back to the old program. That's why it's so easy to go back and so hard to change, because it's inbuilt physiologically. That's why change is so hard. It's biology. So you're fighting your own brain telling you, oh, no, you're not safe. Oh, stop. Because also built into us is the need to survive. And that's another part of the brain, which is the amygdala. And that survival brain is built in us for when we're in super danger, like somebody's coming at us with a knife, or there's a tiger going to eat us up. Well, it's very, very rare. However, if we're not working with our brain and our mind with our programs, we go into what we call default programming. And default programming is survival animal, which is, oh my God, what am I going to do? I got to fight it out. Fight. I gotta figure this out. Like that's fight. That's what fight looks like. Freeze.
Is that when, oh my God, I just got laid off?
No, that is, oh my God, I got laid off. Now what am I going to do? It's the next step after I got laid off. Now what am I going to do? So then the wheels start turning. Oh, I got to get my resume updated. Oh my God, I can't tell my parents. Oh my God. Like that's the, oh my God stuff. It's like, oh, or the brain will go, let's go have a drink. I can't process this. That's freeze. And then flee is, well, flee is really let's go have a drink and let's kind of numb this out. Like, let me get out of here. The fight is, I'm going to go up to that office. I'm going to tell them off and tell them why they shouldn't fire me. Right? Like you fight it through. They're all animal levels of survival.
Mm-hmm.
We are not animals. We
Yeah.
have gone beyond that realm. But if we haven't dealt with our programs internally, then we're going to go to default of survival. Okay.
What
So
about the feeling where I know I have to get a new job and I've been applying to hundreds and hundreds of jobs, and I've either recruiters don't get back to me, or I actually get an interview and then they just always reject me. I never get to the finish line.
yes. Okay. So what's happening at that level is, and you can have a really positive attitude, you know, like somebody
Yes.
who's putting out all those applications and trying to stay positive and they still get rejected.
Yeah.
Then there's something called unconscious patterning.
Mm.
Okay. So this is where this method that I'm going to lead people through comes into play. Because once we've looked at our conscious beliefs or our conscious software, conscious programming, and even we've healed it and we've kind of said, I don't believe any of that. I'm going to, you know, power positive thinking.
I'm going to power through.
Yeah, I'm going to power through with positivity,
Mm-hmm.
and it's still not working.
Mm.
That's when you know there's belief systems in the unconscious that we now need to pull up into our conscious mind. And these unconscious belief systems, again, are implanted in us in childhood. So we have something called toxic positivity. We have something called spiritually overriding emotions, right? So the mind is very complex, and the ego is incredibly sneaky. It wants us basically to be safe, or what it believes to be safe, but really it wants us to die. Like, it's like, you're not safe, right? I want to keep you small. I want to keep you in this box. That's where people feel safest. But the spirit within us wants us to expand. I want a better job. I want to do more in the world if I get laid. I don't want to go to a job that's, you know, lesser qualified. So the spirit, like, this is the conundrum of being human.
Yeah.
Is that we've got this spirit that wants us to ascend, and we've got this ego that wants us to stay small.
And safe, right?
And safe. But that safety mechanism can end up thwarting all that energy. And I don't want to say kill, but it does lead people to suicidal ideation. It does lead people to massive obsessive compulsive disorders, massive anxiety. And that can all be ameliorated, and it all can be avoided if we start looking at our unconscious patterning. Does that make sense?
You mentioned the term toxic positivity, I think is what you said.
Yes.
That is fascinating. I would never have thought to put those two things together.
Yeah.
Tell us more about that.
Well, toxic positivity is a person who denies that they or anybody else is having a negative feeling. Meaning, say it's your partner or a parent, and you go to them and you say, oh, I'm feeling a little down today, or I'm feeling a little confused. And they say, oh, just think positively.
Okay, that's what that means.
Don't dwell on your feelings, right? Just go to the higher place. Just go to the higher place. And they override what you're feeling. They're not seeing you for who you are. They're not hearing you for what you're actually saying. What they're basically saying is, deny that and just go to this place of light. Like, a lot of people in spiritual communities do that.
Yes.
Just go to the light. Just go to the light. What ends up happening, though, is like our humanness and our spirit need to be intertwined. When we always are overriding into the spiritual light, our shadow, our darkness, our true feelings are getting pushed away. And if we push them away long enough, we get sick. And one of the forms of that is cancer, and breast cancer specifically. Okay. So a lot of women mothers, mothering type people, you know, they're always giving and giving and giving and staying positive and staying positive. And, you know, their kids are whatever, they're losing their soccer matches. So
Positive parenting.
yes.
Yes.
And it can be toxic
Mm.
because the child needs to experience defeat. They need to experience failure. They need to experience, those are life experiences in order to integrate into ourselves to become a richer human being.
So, what can we do when we are feeling really defeated? Either it's I lost my job and I can't find one. It's been 1 year and I'm still looking for a job.
Mhm,
Or I'm giving it my all. I
mhm.
am putting in all my hours and yet my manager is never happy with my work, or my manager says I'm not ready for that promotion even though I'm giving it my all.
Yes. Okay, so then what I'm hearing there is the belief system, I'm not enough.
Mhm.
I'm
Yes.
giving every cell that I have,
And I'm showing up. I'm trying to be positive.
and it's still
Mhm.
not enough.
Yeah.
So right there, I can tell you that that person has been wounded in a phase of childhood,
Mm.
and that's between the ages of 4 and 7, when
Mhm.
they weren't seen or heard by their parent, and something happened.
Mhm.
So the work that I do with people is I take them back in time, just based on that one incident, for
Yeah.
instance, you know, and maybe the tech industry is filled, but most, you know, like each industry will have particular themes and patterns that recur.
Yeah.
Maybe in the tech industry, it is 4 and 7, and it's about empowerment.
Mm.
So let's go back to your example of the person who's been looking for a year.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
So that person needs to dig deeper within their spirit,
Mhm.
not their brain.
Mm.
The world has enough intellect, has enough information out there. What it doesn't have enough of is the connection into the heart, into the spirit of who we are. Because that's what's getting knocked back. That person is feeling despair now.
Yes.
Not only feeling hopeless, right? Or it's never going to happen,
Right.
but despair,
Yes.
right? So when we feel those things, we must connect to powers that are greater than a human power,
Mm.
because we've been operating from the brain, and the
Yeah.
brain's been telling us stuff, and we've been doing what the brain says, and
Mm.
it's not working.
Yes. And we're also looking around. There's so many candidates out there and not enough jobs.
Yeah.
How can I stand out? Oh, I must be missing something. There must be a gap. That's
Well,
why I haven't found a
and there
job in
is,
here.
and that's a great question. I mean,
Mhm.
as long as they go to that place, like,
Yeah.
what is it about me that's not working?
Yeah.
Because it is an inside job. And as you say, there are, you know, 20 candidates in only one position. What makes the other 19, you know, on the list, and I get left out,
Mhm.
is that we're looking outwardly for our approval. We're
Yeah.
looking outwardly to being seen. We're
Yes.
looking outwardly to being heard.
Yes.
And again, it goes back to childhood.
Mm.
And we need to face inwardly. And you know, this modality that I'll walk you through, we conjure up our adult self and we talk to our younger self.
Mm.
And we coach the younger self, because it's she or he that is wounded, that is
Mm.
running the show. Okay.
Oh, that's super interesting. Okay.
So some people, you know, when they get laid off, they behave like a 3-year-old. They have a temper tantrum, right? Or they behave like a 7-year-old. They're a little bit more mature, but then they go inwardly and they implode, and it's like, I'm not powerful enough. I gotta, you know, I'm gonna fight them, and I'm gonna, you know, so each age group
Yeah.
where there was injury will have a different reaction.
My reaction when I got laid off was, what did I do?
Mhm.
Why me?
Yeah.
Why am I targeted? Where
Mhm.
did I not do a good job?
Okay.
Well, why me and why not them?
Why not them? Okay,
Yeah.
so there's two things going on, Nancy.
Yeah.
One, and this is getting really into heavy esoteric territory, but it's the truth,
Mm.
and it is the truth, is that there's two experiences simultaneously happening to you in that.
Mm.
Okay.
Mm.
One is the company that you're working for has to downsize and has to, clip their wings, and they have to figure out where to do that.
Yes.
It has nothing to do with Nancy Chu. Nothing. You're just a name. Okay.
Mm.
That's
And a
one
number.
level.
Yeah.
And a
Name.
number. So that's one level of reality.
Yes.
The second level of reality is that there's a divine consciousness working with each and every one of us 24/7. Never goes away. You wake up in the middle of the night, it's there. You go to sleep, it's there. It never dies. It's the eternal part of us.
Yeah.
And that eternal part has a plan.
Mm-hmm.
And there are lessons to learn in that eternal part of you.
Mm.
So you're getting laid off so that the divine, the universe, Allah, Buddha, God, whatever you want to call it, needs to take you to school in a different way. So you've done your intellectual school. Now you need to do your personal development. Now you need to do your spiritual schooling.
Yeah.
To learn about faith, to learn about trust, to learn about obedience, to learn about generosity, to learn other things that aren't taught in school or through the intellect.
Yes.
So, you go, why me? Well, why not you? Why not you? Like, why are you so special? It's like, you're just a name, you're just a number.
Mm-hmm.
And okay, I have an opportunity here to find out on a bigger level what I can do so that next round, I'm going to have spirit, I'm going to have light, I'm going to have the empowerment that I'm going to be so filled with light and love for all my fellow colleagues. I'm not going to be the brown noser who stays till 11 at night, every night, in order to be seen, because it's very dysfunctional.
Done that before. Yeah.
No, we all have. That's so that the parent, our boss, sees us.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
And sees that we're good. And usually those are the people that get offed first because they're trying too hard.
Mm-hmm.
Trying too hard. As opposed to, hey, you know what? I got to go home and I got to feed my kids, and my job is important to me and life is important to me. And hires up people that, have done their leadership piece, they know that. They've burnt out. They've been there, they've done that. And they're like, I am not going to ruin my health. I'm not going to break up my marriage for anything.
Right.
So these are the differences between the person who wants to impress, who wants to constantly be there, versus people who are in leadership, who say, my health comes first.
Yes.
My family comes first. My livelihood, my spirit comes first. And then everything comes after that.
I love that you mentioned the word leadership. Leadership is not just your rank at work.
No.
Leadership is self-leadership in this context.
Correct. Yes. Yes. And I mean, we say you can never change your consciousness with the same consciousness that created the problem, right? So, I mean, and this is where your work comes in. This is where my work comes in. If somebody is falling down and they're trying on their own to change, it's not going to work because the same consciousness created the problem. We've got to get an outside point of view. We've got to get new consciousness. We've got to get somebody who loves us, sees us, hears us, holds us, and then our consciousness can start changing, right? And any leader that I know of always has some kind of mindset coach, spiritual teacher, spiritual master. They're on a path that is always parallel.
Also, I don't think we are designed to do things alone.
You're correct. You're correct. We are a social species.
Right.
Okay. So if we're alone and isolated, it does mean that we're going contrary.
Right.
To being human. Right. And in that contrariness, okay, you might get ahead in terms of real smart, but you get really far behind in terms of your humanness.
Right.
And you can't relate to others. And then you think it's them. And then you start blaming and pointing fingers outwardly.
Right.
As opposed to saying, okay, let's hold the phone here. There's more to me than just this.
There's more to me. Yes. I'm my whole self.
Exactly.
And I'm multidimensional.
Yes, exactly.
Yes.
And again, you know, we walk with one foot in humanity and one foot with divinity, because we are having a spirit in our body. We have consciousness in our body.
Yes.
Right? But we are not our body. And so it's like, it's really hard to hold that, except if you can get it, you're free. Like there's a
Body
freedom.
is one aspect, one dimension, but it's
Correct.
not all, because we're multidimensional.
Correct.
Right.
And the other thing, yeah, like when we talk about multidimensionality, it's not only our higher self, it's not only one dimension higher than us. There are dimensions in the universe that are operating right now where part of our consciousness is right now. I don't want to go there.
Multidimensional.
Exactly. Like there are multiverses, multi-universes happening. And this, I mean, this is where the tech people will come to understand this, because what is Meta doing with those glasses of creating other universes?
Metaverse.
A metaverse is just a copy of what's actually happening for our spirit.
Yeah.
Like nobody can get an idea except from a download from the divine.
Right.
Like it's all from the divine. People think they thought it. They didn't think it. It came through as a download.
Right.
In spiritual language and spiritual feeling and intuition. It's never just one thought that one single person has had.
Right. Because inspiration comes from spirit.
Exactly. Creativity, inspiration,
right.
all of that. And what thwarts that is our survival mechanism. Our tightness, our fight, flight, freeze.
Right.
Oh my God, I got to get it right.
Right.
That, the more you do that, the less creative you are. Right? The more in safety and security you are, the less surrender and receiving you are. And in that receiving place, that's when you get the creativity. That's when you get people coming to you with ideas. That's when people want to collaborate with you.
That's when the doors open in ways you've never thought of.
Precisely. And it's a scary place because everybody, you know, operating in the matrix, let's call it that, are operating according to certain rules.
Yes.
It's the program. It's just the program. And if you operate outside that program, you're considered an outlier. You're considered weird, crazy, an artist, you know, except they're the ones that they're happy. They've got the money, they've got the freedom, they've got the time, they've got the health. It's like, how are they doing it? Like, they're not doing it this way. But we call them crazy. And it's like, well, they got something going on.
Yes.
That's
I like the word outlier. Yes.
Yeah.
And I identify as an outlier today because I'm not doing the quote unquote normal thing. I'm not in corporate America today doing what is considered normal by my people.
And you might consider that even in the margins, you know, like margins as opposed to the mainstream.
Yes.
And what ends up happening, Nancy, is the margins start moving into the mainstream. Okay. So when I was doing all this work on my mind and my spirit, when I was your age or younger, you know, I was definitely an outlier. I was definitely in the margins. Nobody understood, like, you know, in 1990, you're meditating. Like, what is that? Right? Like, are you a witch? Right? And then there was this whole influx of yoga and whole influx of Eastern philosophies are coming to the West. I mean, I've been alive for all of that. So, but initially, like, you must be crazy if that's what you're focusing on.
When did the influx happen? In the 2000s or in the 90s?
Well, yeah, it was about 90. It was about the 2000 mark, 1997, 98, because I was living in Vancouver and I had upstairs from me a Hindu nun who was a yoga master. So she had given her life devoted to yoga. And we used my living room as a yoga studio. And so her students would come down and we would do yoga there. And there were no such things as yoga studios yet.
Oh,
right? Yeah. So we were doing it in people's houses. And then and I remember, yeah, it was about 2000, 2001. Then she got an apartment by herself, and she opened a studio by herself in the same building. And again, it was radical. Like nobody did that. So
and
that was
now it's so normal.
Oh, yeah, it's totally the norm, right? And same with meditation centers. I mean,
Yes.
you could go to a religious center, like you could go to an ashram, or you could go to a temple or something, but there was no place just like a spiritual center that just focused on meditation.
Right.
Or it didn't matter what, it wasn't religious, it was spiritual.
Right.
So that came in about 2010, 2009, that started to show the distinction between spirit and religion.
Is that also when mindfulness became more mainstream?
Yeah, that's sort of when it breaking through.
Yeah.
I was working on projects in the early 2000s on interfaith. So, I was working with a Jewish rabbi and a Hindu priest and, a Baha'i person and Brahma Kumaris. And so everybody had their own hat. And we wanted to forget about religion and just talk about spirit.
I love that.
Yeah. So we were creating an interspiritual center where we could all come together.
Love it.
So that was, that was in 04, 03, 04. And I did an interview a couple of weeks ago, and this woman said, "Tell me about your interfaith work because it seems to be vogue now." And I was like, "Oh, it's always been there. It's just whether we've tapped into the stream or not."
I love that.
Yeah.
Tell us about your modality, and what does the word modality mean for those of us who might not fully understand?
Sure. Okay, so a modality is a practice, means a set of instructions that take you from A to B. Okay. So NLP, and neuro-linguistic programming, is a modality. EFT, emotional freedom technique, is a modality.
Is that the tapping?
That's the tapping.
Okay.
EFT is tapping. EMDR, I can't remember that, emotional release something technique, which is working with your eyes, is a modality.
Okay.
Meditation is a modality.
Okay.
All right. So my method is a modality. So there's a set of
therapy also a modality? Is that considered modality?
Different types of therapy will utilize.
Okay.
Therapy is considered like a practice, a psychological practice, if you will. A little blip there. Counseling, therapy, and there's all different types. Also, there's psychology, there's psychiatry, there's spiritual guidance, there's peer-to-peer counseling. So, and within those, they use different modalities.
Okay.
So you might go to a life coach, and they may use mindfulness. You might go to a NLP practitioner, and they're just going to use NLP.
Yeah.
For instance.
Yeah.
Somebody like me who's been around the block more than a few times, I have all of them in my basket.
Okay.
So that I'm working with people, depending on what they need, I will give them a particular modality. Like I'll do the tap touching, or, I've got mind gems that work with your field of energy. Like if somebody's panicking, I'll spin energy into their field.
Yeah.
Sort of stop them. This modality that I have developed and created is for people. I mean, it's for everybody. Like it's absolutely from woe to go. You don't have to have had trauma in your childhood. You don't have to have, like stress or anxiety. Living in the Western world, you have been traumatized. Like it's just period.
Is that a fact?
It's just a fact.
Okay.
Your education system.
Yeah.
You're going to have trauma. Going through our, just the societal racism that's out there. You've been traumatized.
Mm.
So nobody beats the rap. And the good thing about this modality is yeah, you don't have to have like some, you don't have to be raped or have some kind of fire burning in your past or your father died or something like that. It's like, we want to go back to those places though, where there's resistance,
Okay.
where there's blocks, and where there's that kind of infantile behavior that keeps us locked into being a child. And I used to work a lot with, as an accountant with money. And I would say to people, you're spending your money as though you're a 3-year-old, right? You're operating from a 3-year-old consciousness of safety. We have to mature that piece of you to know that you're safe. And this is for people who they only save their money, right? And then they lose their job and they don't want to spend it.
Yes.
It's like, well, what did you save it for? Right? This is for a rainy day.
I
this is your rainy.
That is my upbringing. That's my immigrant mentality. To save for the raining day. Yes.
Yeah, and then you get laid off, and they go, no, don't touch it. It's like, well, if it's raining, it's pouring. I need to utilize that.
Yes.
And allow other things to come into play. Like, so what I hear in that is there's a belief system that you're not going to survive. Now that is the truth for older generations. Coming to a new country, they had so many obstacles against them. I mean, my family, immigrant family, breaking the soil, food was scarce. That's not today.
Yeah. That's
not today. So superimposing that kind of programming on a young person like you today, it's like, it's discordant. It makes no sense, but it went in there. So then you have to unlodge it.
Right. It made sense to my parents and their upbringing. I mean, they grew up not being able to afford eggs.
Precisely.
Right.
Precisely. They may not have even had the conditions to get the eggs, even if they had the money, they couldn't get the eggs in some cases.
Yeah.
Right. So and then it goes on and on. Like they may not have had a roof over their head. Like, again, it's a time and a place. Each culture, each person.
Right.
However, I say, are you walking around with your parents' belief in your head, or you're walking around having chosen what you want to believe?
Well, that's how we evolve, right? Evolution. We need to evolve.
Precisely.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Makes total sense.
Yeah. And when people, get fired or laid off, they're going to go back to old belief systems.
That default programming.
100% default.
Yes.
And then being like a child.
Yes.
I spoke to you about this a little bit. There's also a child-parent relationship going on when we're hired by a company. Okay.
Yes.
And when we're hired by a company, daddy or mommy actually gives us the paycheck.
Yes.
And if we're good girls or boys, we get the paycheck. We have this belief. It's not true, right? To be good or bad, we get the paycheck. Because those of us who've been self-employed, we've gone beyond the mommy, daddy paradigm and child paradigm. We've scrapped that and said, I'm a mature person now, and I'm responsible for taking care of me with a divine parent. And I'm willing to trust and have faith and hear direction from energies that are not my physical parents or my physical job. And that's a whole paradigm shift. That's the shift from the operating system.
Totally. Yes.
From faith or from fear to faith.
Yes. The willingness to see things differently.
Correct.
Yes.
And we hit a bottom when we lose our job. Like that's the kind of stuff foundationally that needs to get broken open. And it doesn't happen to everybody because that's not the plan for their consciousness.
That's true.
Somebody else gets a job in 2 weeks and they go on their merry way. Others, it's like, okay, and we, and as a Buddhist, I say that's your karma. Your karma is working itself out. There's more here to learn, for your spirit, because you've been given the opportunity. And I even go so far as to say, but a lot of people wouldn't subscribe to this, is we chose this before we got here.
Yes.
And we have to be self-responsible.
Self-leadership.
Self-leadership comes back to self-leadership. So we go from victim, leader, to thriver, right? No longer surviving, but thriving. In self-leadership, we're in self-empowerment. We're getting instructions from powers that you can't see but are beyond us, and we're just like magnificently empowered, which is self-leadership, as opposed to, okay, tell me what you want me to do today, and I'll do it.
Yeah. Tell me what the expectations are, and I will try to exceed your expectations. That was how I've always operated for decades.
Yeah. Yeah. So let's go back to the modality. And the modality takes people back in time into places, and your conscious mind doesn't, the conscious mind leads us into the unconscious, where the unconscious brings up information that the conscious mind can then work with. Okay. So we've got multiple parts of our mind moving together, working together, and we become empowered through that. There is no parent doing it. It is us with us.
It's the whole being, whole body, whole everything. It's
spirit, it's psychology, it's humanness, it's our woundedness from our human woundedness, and our spiritual woundedness. And we get to look at it all. And then we get to change it. We have that power, you see. Most people don't realize that. It's like, you can't change your past. Well, you can't change what happened, but you can change what you're visualizing and what you're feeling.
Your perception of it.
It's beyond perception, though. It's the energetics. Okay. So when we have an experience, there's an imprint energetically in the universe, and it always remains until the time we go back and we actually change the imprint of the energy.
Oh my gosh. That is powerful. That is powerful.
Incredibly powerful. Because as soon as you change that, and I told you about the record that's in here, like that's your neurology and your biology. You change that, boom, it's gone.
And
then you move into your path of liberation. I mean, it's a next level of leadership, next level of self-leadership. It's the next level of your enlightenment, right? So it's in stages. You can't, and nobody can beat the rap. Like, this is what people think. Oh, well, I'm just going to get to the head of the line. I'm going to do this in my spiritual practices. Well, it doesn't work like that. You have to go through stage by stage in order to be able to relate to others, So it's, and that's where the toxic positivity.
Oh, I think I lost signal a little bit. Angela, did I lose? Did I lose you?
I'm noticing that.
There we go. You're back. Okay. Sorry, I got cut off for a second.
Yeah, my internet is a little bit.
Okay.
It said it's a bit unstable. So
we're back.
I don't know where I left you off. I don't know if you heard me or.
No, go ahead. Just continue wherever you were.
Well, that nobody beats the rap, and you've got to kind of sequentially move through.
Yeah.
And it doesn't. Well, it's a both and. It's a both and. It's like you can jump around. This is where the timeline piece comes in with the acceleration. So timelines are, childhood is a timeline, from 0 to 18 months, there's a timeline. Childhood, 0 to 18 years, there's a timeline. Oh, I went to university, there's a timeline.
Yeah.
Oh, now I have children, there's a timeline. But the mind can jump back to childhood into that timeline, or it can jump forward into a future timeline of what you're going to be like, in your 40s, your 50s, your 60s. What is your timeline there going to look like?
Yeah.
So the the modality is called the accelerated transpersonal timeline method.
I'm going to put it up on the screen. Hold on 1 second.
Mm-hmm. And are there people here? Like, are there? Can you do a thumbs up and see if people are here?
I see there are 2 people on my YouTube.
Okay. Okay. And I wonder if my Facebook page, if there's anybody there that is signed on, and I don't know how to.
Yeah, sometimes it's hard to tell, but it's okay because they might not find us now, but they will later at the right time. Yeah.
No, I understand. I
Oh,
understand.
I just got a thumbs up on my LinkedIn.
Yeah, you gotta ask, and then you're gonna say, "Yeah, I'm here. I'm listening."
Yes, thank you.
You know, like reception's bad, but I can hear you, or I'm on the bus and I'm. Yeah, so just checking in with people that they actually can hear, and are they getting anything from it? Are they learning anything? That's the next question. Maybe you can, a thumbs up or.
Oh, I got another thumbs up on LinkedIn. Yay!
Okay,
thank you.
So there are people there listening.
Yes.
Live.
Yes.
Live, and so it's nice to just know who's out there. And,
I got another thumbs up.
Yeah, for sure.
Thank you.
Yeah, let's hear it. We need some love.
Yeah, because it's not just a podcast between me and Angela. Yes.
Correct. Yeah, exactly. There's you're in one city and I'm in another, but we're live sitting here talking.
We're live.
Yeah.
So you were saying, what does ATTM stand for again?
Okay, so accelerated. And when I say accelerated, all that stuff I was talking about programming and downloads, we accelerate, we quicken up how to make change. Okay, so there's a natural form to, as we age, people change, but this method accelerates it.
Hi, Julie. We're so happy that you're with us live.
Definitely.
This keeps us going. Thank you, Julie.
There you go. So no, this process will be accelerated.
Okay, right? Accelerated.
Transpersonal. Now, what does transpersonal?
Transpersonal.
And I I'm not kidding you on this one. Like, I didn't know what the word meant. I was asking the divine, okay, well, what am I going to call this? And they gave me this name, and I said, well, but what's transpersonal? I had to go look it up. Transpersonal is
that a real word? Now I have to look it up too.
100% real, and not only is it a real word, there are faculties of transpersonal psychology. Okay. So transpersonal means spiritual, psychological coming together. So it's beyond just our humanness. Trans meaning ascended. Okay, so transpersonal, like totally, it's a whole faculty, it's a whole line of inquiry, of study, that people can become a PhD in transpersonal psychology. So transpersonal, so it's accelerated transpersonal timeline, and I've explained timeline, right? So we can move between timelines with our mind. Modality.
Okay. Yeah. I'm going to put it on the screen.
So, and I call it the ATTM for short. So that, there you go, accelerated transpersonal timeline method, ATTM. So that what method are you using? The ATTM method.
Okay. And
the long form is accelerated transpersonal timeline method. I created this 24 years ago. It's been in development. I mean, early on, and I started teaching it about the 2 or 3 year mark after I started to develop it, and incredible results. So it's taken many years and hundreds and thousands of students, and we've done a scientific trial with it now as well. So just letting people know that it's scientifically being proven that change can happen within 6 weeks using this method. A positive change, let us put it that way.
Yes, a clinical trial recently.
Yes. So I want to do it.
Yeah, let's do it.
We move into these higher level questions so that people can get a taste of it.
All right.
And
I'm ready.
Okay. So, and we've talked for an hour, man. Like that's no, we've talked for 40 minutes. And I
talk a lot.
Well, and I forewarned you that, like, you just get me going, and I love to impart my wisdom. So
yes.
And let us try this now. If you're driving, we don't want you to do this, okay? You can listen. It's best for you to be stationary. It's best for you to be, I mean, if you're on a bus, you can do it. If you're stationary and listening, with earphones. But I not only don't recommend it, I highly advise you don't do this while you're driving, because we're going to take you into places that while you're driving is not good, because you need to be present. And we're going to go into
how long would this take?
It'll take about 20 minutes.
Today's demonstration. Okay.
Yeah. So it'll take about 20 minutes.
Okay.
And just for people to know that there are many, many variations of what it is, what this modality is. I'm going to do the very basic one. I'm going to do the one that is really the initial welcoming of your unconscious into your conscious mind. Like, this is where you're going to meet your unconscious. Okay.
What if I cry? I feel like I might cry. Is that normal?
100%. It's
oh my gosh. Okay. I'm going to get my tissues ready.
Yeah. Yeah. So, if yeah, like, absolutely. Because you're going to meet a part of yourself that you haven't met before.
Oh my gosh.
And, often we haven't met that part. And she or he has missed you, right? Like, and they're going to have things to say and feelings. And for those who don't have, like, some people don't have these breakthrough, breakdown, whatever experiences, that's okay too. There is no normal. Everything is
I feel
normal.
like I'm crying already. Okay.
You've been waiting. That part of your unconscious has been waiting to be unlocked. It's like, Mama, I want to talk to you.
Well, if I cry today, it will be the second time I cried live during a live stream. So it's not my first time.
And there is absolutely nothing wrong with you.
Yeah.
Nothing. It's
all love. Yes.
It is.
Yes.
Okay. So yeah, like that woman, I don't remember her name, Jocelyn or whatever. Julie. Hopefully you're at your desk or you're at a couch or something like that, and put your earplugs in, and here we go. So I want you to begin with, just gently close your eyes. And I want you to check in with your posture. And what I mean by that is I want you to make sure that your chin is tucked in and your head is over your shoulders. So you're not leaning back with your head against a pillow, but your shoulders and your head are in alignment. And then your shoulders and your hips are in alignment. So again, you may want to put a little cushion behind your lower back. And I want you to rest your hands, either palms up or palms down, on your lap. And you can put your right palm on top of your left with your thumbs touching. And I want you to rest your tongue on the roof of your mouth, right behind your front teeth. And allow your saliva, this is stopping your saliva from flowing, so you're not swallowing and being distracted. So let us begin with the breath. So I want you to breathe in your nose, just normally. And I want you to exhale out your mouth. And I want you, if you can, to say the HA sound. Ha. And it's as if you're biting on an apple. So you breathe in your nose. And then you're breathing out. You can even imagine that you've got dragon fire coming out of your mouth. You're breathing in your nose. And then out your mouth. You're dropping your shoulders. You're breathing deeply from your belly. Your belly gets large, and then as you exhale out, your belly gets pushed to the back of your spine. And now I want you to breathe in your mouth. And I want you to imagine that you're breathing through a straw. And you're sucking up energy right from the core of the planet, right from the center of the earth. So we're... And then exhaling out the mouth. In the mouth. Out the mouth. Sucking in air through a straw. And out the mouth. And one last time. In the mouth. And out the mouth. And now I want you to focus back on the tip of your nose, the right and the left nostrils. And I want you just to breathe in gently. And bringing your mind back to the left and the right nostril. You could even focus on a 3-dimensional little triangle that rests on the tip of your nose. So when your mind goes off into the future, I wonder what this ATTM method is. I wonder what's going to... Just notice that you're thinking. You can even put a little yellow sticky note up, thinking, and then you bring the mind back to the tip of your nose, to your breath. And then the mind starts pulling you into the past. A phone call that you had, an email that you had that really disrupted you. You start thinking about it. Just notice your thinking and then pull the mind back to the tip of your nose and your breath. And this is what I mean by the heart, your mind is training your thoughts. You are having a thought. Just notice you're having a thought. Bring it back to your heart, to the breath. And now, I want you to imagine that you're walking along a beautiful, white, sandy beach. And this beach can be anywhere in the world. It can be in Hawaii. It can be in Bali. It can be in Cuba, Mexico, wherever. It could be Long Beach, California. Doesn't matter. Go there now. And kick off your shoes. And I want you to be barefoot. And I want you to feel the sand squishing between your toes. Slowly, with each step you take, becoming more and more relaxed. You can hear birds cawing in the distance or seagulls. You can even look up ahead and see eagles swirling above you. And you continue to walk, digging your heels into the sand. It's a beautiful day. The sky is blue, pristine, and the sun is warm. You can feel the sun on your face. You can feel the breeze against your skin. And with each step you take, You are becoming deeper and deeper. Relax. And up ahead, you notice something on the beach. You notice that there's a crack, and you're very curious, so you walk forward to investigate. And as you move forward to investigate, the earth opens up right in front of your eyes. And I want you to look down into the earth. And this golden light is gushing, is moving up towards you. And the crack becomes larger and larger. And what you also see is a beautiful staircase made of light, white light, golden light. And the staircase has handrails. And you're standing on the edge between the sand and the staircase. And I want you now to step off of the beach and begin to walk down the stairs. And if you have any fear, bring a friend with you. Bring an angel. Bring me. Bring somebody you trust to begin to walk gently down those stairs. And with each step you take, you are becoming deeper and deeper relaxed. Each step, your hands are on the handrail, and you are slowly descending the stairs. And then you notice that there's a gate at the bottom of the stairs. And I want you now to move through the gate, opening up the gate, move beyond the gate and through it. And as you do that, you notice in the distance that there's all these little black specks, far, far, far in the distance. And you can't make out their faces. And just like being on a far beach, you see these little black specks and you kind of go, are they people? And they start coming towards you slowly, slowly. And you realize, yes, these are people. And slowly, slowly, they're moving closer and closer towards you. And you notice that there's one at the head of the pack. And they're smaller than all the rest. And slowly, slowly, they're coming closer and closer. And you realize, oh, it's a child that's in the distance that's coming towards me. And slowly, slowly, you start making out the faces. And you realize that the child is you as a little girl, or you as a little boy. And I want you, the adult, to kneel down. And the child comes towards you slowly. And you, the adult, I want you to notice what the child is experiencing right now. Is she afraid? Is she excited? Is she numb, or is she really, really happy? Now, for those of you where there is no child showing up, I want you to bring forward a photograph of yourself as a child. And I want the child in the photograph to step out of the photograph. And I want you, the adult, to be bended down on your knee, and I want you to greet your little one and say hello. And just see if they'll let you hug them. They may be cautious, they may back off. They may want a big, big bear hug. Everything is perfect just the way it is. There is no good, there is no bad. So you, the adult, take your cues from the child. I don't want you to impose on the child. I don't want you to push them. I just want you to witness them. And especially I want you to witness the energy. How are they feeling? Are they distant from you? All of us are perceptive beings. And I want you, the adult, to start talking to them now. I want you to talk to them and tell them, oh my goodness, it's so wonderful to see you. It's been a long, long time. Look at your little shoes. Oh, they're so cute. Or the little dress that she's wearing, or the little shorts or pants that he might be wearing. I want you to feed back to them that you see them. I want you to feed that back. You become the mirror to them. And let them know that they're deserving of this attention. They're worthy of this attention. Because they might feel like, it's a bit too heavy. I don't know what you're doing. And just let them know that you're in charge. Everything's going to be okay. And again, talk to them of what you see. I mean, maybe they're all like anxious or they're excited. Say, I see that you're anxious today, or I see that you're happy. Again, being the mirror to what they're emotionally feeling. And talk to them about what fierce intelligence they have and how perceptive they are and how pure. You see them as pure and innocent. And they may not know what those words are, but they know that you're talking to them and that you see them. And now I want you to ask them, hey, little one, take me to your safe spot. Take me to a place anywhere on the planet. It can be up a mountain. It can be back in a bedroom. It can be at a campsite. It can be by a lake. It can be in the redwood forest beside a big tree. Take me now to your safest spot. And when you arrive there, I want you and the adult to go there together. I want the adult to put down a blanket. And I want the adult to sit on the blanket. And I want you to let the little one do whatever she or he wants. And that means, they may want to dance in front of you. They may want to show you their crayoning. They may want to do little daisy flowers. They may want to skip rock. They may want to do nothing. They may just want to sit beside you. They may want to sit on your lap. I want you just for a moment to allow them to be and do whatever they choose. And once again, if there's no child and there's just colors or feelings or energy, that's perfectly all right. Go with the energy. You can feel it. And if you want, conjure up again a photograph of you, the child, and see if the child wants out of the photograph to do something. And if your analytical mind is kind of asking you, like, is this really happening? Am I making all this up? I want to tell you that your creativity is your gold. So allow the creativity, allow the imagination, allow whatever it is that's coming up to be there. Allow the analytical mind to be there, but you, the adult, talk to the analytical mind and just say, I've got this. It's okay. Me and the child are good. So just continuing with the child, letting he or she show you things, horseback riding, lighting a fire. And you, the adult, are continually praising them. I see you. I hear you. You're deserving of my attention. You're deserving of my love. Now that one might stop them. They're like, I don't believe you. You don't know me. So there may be some skepticism, and that's okay. And you just let them know that's okay. I'm here for you. So just take a moment with this part of yourself to watch and witness. Speak back from your heart of what you see and what you notice that they're feeling. And you are their mirror. You are their witness. And now I want you to invite the child to come and sit on your lap. And she or he may be skeptical, so they can sit beside you on the blanket. Or they may want to cuddle in close because they're so excited to see you. So they may sit heart to heart and they might wrap their legs around your back, or they may sit in the same direction as you and you put your arms around them. Again, there is no right or there is no wrong. And if they want to sit beside you, maybe just put out your little pinky finger and see if they'd like to hold pinky fingers together. Or maybe you could just put your arm around their shoulders. Whatever it is, let the child dictate emotionally how you, the adult, treats them. There is no pushing. There is no overriding of their feelings. That's what happened to us in childhood. We got told to feel certain ways, think certain things. Right now, you are in the possibility of all energy. And allow what's coming up to come up. So I want you to begin to stroke their hair, if they'll let you touch them. And you may want to take your hands, the back of your hands, and run your back hands down their little baby cheeks and down their little baby arms and their little baby legs, and talk to them and say, oh, you are so pure. And you may want to nuzzle your nose into their neck and give them little baby kisses and smell them. Smell the smell of a child. There's sweetness there. And just hold them. They may wiggle or they may melt into you. They may not want to be touched. All of it is acceptable. And now I want you to ask them one question. What do you need from me today? Or what would you like from me today? And it usually just comes in one word or two. Play or hugs. Love me. Stay. And if they say nothing, that's okay too. Don't judge. There's no right or wrong. Just allow it. And if they've given you some information, you let them know that within 24 hours, you'll try your best to do what it is they're asking you to do. And I want you to just notice in this short period of time, have they begun to trust you just a little bit? Just noticing. And now I want the two of you to stand up. And I want you to walk back to the gate. And when you arrive at the gate, this huge, beautiful garden appears. And there's trees, and there's a lake, and there's a mountain, and there's this great big open greenway, just like a golf course. And there's hummingbirds, and there's deer, and there's ladybugs, and there's small little creatures and large creatures. And then there's this vastness, this green open runway, fairway. And on this fairway, there are light beings, ascended masters. You can invite in or see whomever you choose. I'll give you some names. Maybe the archangels are there. The archangels Michael, Gabriel, Raphael, Uriel, Ariel, Metatron, Halcyon, Sandalphon. Maybe Jesus is there. Maybe Mary is there. Maybe there's Buddhas there. Shakyamuni, Tara Buddha, Vajrayogini, Heruka. Maybe Lakshmi or Rumi are there. Maybe Kuan Yin is there. Maybe the prophets, Rumi, Muhammad, they're all in a circle. Maybe they're all there. And they're in a circle of light. And you and the child, I want you to walk into this circle and stand in the middle. And you are going to be blasted by beautiful white love, golden light, white light, being blasted with rainbow-colored light by these ascended masters, enlightened beings. And I want you to look at the child in the eyes. I want you to bend down on your knees. And I want you to look at the child and say, I love you. I see you. And the child may be uncomfortable still, and that's okay. And now the child has a choice. Would she or he like to dissolve into you, the adult? Or would she or he like to stay with one of these masters? And you can call up grandparents who have passed on. You can call up holy beings if you've had priests in your background, or rabbis, or whatever, lamas. They can be there. And maybe the child wants to go stand beside one of them. Ask the child what they prefer. And if they want to dissolve into you, I want you to imagine that you sit on the ground and the child just comes light energy into your body. And it's like water melting into water, or a snowflake melting into water. There's a merging. And if the child wants to stand with one of the masters, give the child a kiss and a hug and say, I will be back. And allow the child to stand with one of those masters. Could be an archangel, and the wings are folded around the child. And I want you, the adult, now to break through that circle and then come out and move through the gate. And I want you to slowly, slowly come back up the stairs, ascending slowly. And I want you to turn around and I want you to wave to the child if you've left the child behind. And if you haven't left the child behind and she's dissolved into you, then wave to the ascended masters and blow them a kiss and say thank you. And you, the adult, come walking up the stairs, step by step, step by step. And then your foot lands on the top step, and your next foot lands back up on the beach. And your second foot lands back up on the beach. And when that happens, boom, the earth closes up behind you. And you are now back in that pristine, beautiful day where there's this long, white sandy beach. And as you walk on this beach, once again you feel the wind against your skin. And there's this fullness inside of your heart, in your belly, that you've just touched into a part of you that you've not felt in a long, long time. And there's no separation. You feel the merging of that part of you and today. And I want you to now slowly, slowly come back into the call, come back into the room in which you're sitting. And I want you to wiggle fingers and toes. And I want you to feel your bum on your chair or your couch, wherever it is that you're sitting. And just taking your time to come back slowly to my voice, to the room.
I am back.
You are back.
I am back.
In more ways than one.
So cool. Came back with the child.
Beautiful. Gorgeous. So do you want me to ask you some questions? Or do you want me to ask the questions of some of your participants? Like, one of the questions is always, how old were you? Was there a child there?
She's probably 2 or 3.
2 or 3.
Pigtails.
With pigtails. Okay. And was she happy to see you? What was her
Very happy, almost too happy.
She was like ecstatic,
Yes.
kind of way excited.
Way excited.
So it's been a long, long time. She's been waiting for you.
I could see that.
Okay. And did she want to show you anything? Did she want to do daisy flowers, or when we said, do whatever you like? Was she able to do anything?
She wants to play.
Play.
Okay.
And what was she wanting to play? Did she show
anything? Just
anything?
sand.
And okay, beautiful. And was she able to come on your lap and stroke her hair and just kind of stroke her skin a little bit? Did she like that?
Yes.
She liked it. Okay. And did you notice that she shifted in her trust level with you?
It's like she just trusted.
Okay.
From the get-go.
Okay. So she's, these are different signs. They mean different things to different people.
Oh.
Okay. So that for me would be a signal that your parents haven't split up. Have your parents split up?
Not really, a little bit.
But have they divorced?
No.
No. Okay. So then there's some stability there, foundational childhood stuff.
Oh, okay. Interesting.
So what I can say is that whatever age the child shows up, because they will show up at any age, whatever age they came out of the photograph, will correlate to a particular time in your life, in your childhood, where a wound might have happened.
Oh.
Okay. So the ages of 2 or 3 is time of exploration for children. Okay. So 0 to 18 months, we've got attachment issues. Okay. So Julie's saying,
Julie saw 2 of her.
And that's not uncommon. So like everything, like I've heard it all. Okay. So there's 2 parts of Julie that's showing up. She had a 3-year-old and a 13-year-old self. And there were so many tears through this, she's saying. Okay.
Me too. Oh my gosh. Julie, sister, I'm with you.
Yeah, because this is energy that has been trapped in your unconscious that needs to get released. And people who have never cried go and do this process, and they come back and it's like, I never cry. What's that about? That's coming. It's been so pent up. It's so been pushed down, and it's the child part of you that hasn't been seen or heard. Okay. So, we go back to a 2, 3-year-old because both you and Julie had that age. That's about the time in our lives when our parents needed to kind of hover a little bit, but also needed to teach us that we were seen. Okay. So you can ask yourself some questions. Did my parents move country? Did I have a sibling that got born when I was 3 years old? Right? Did my mom have postpartum depression? Did she go back to work? Right? Did I get put into daycare? These are all things that naturally occur in a child's life. However, a child has no language to articulate what they're experiencing. So all they do is feel it. And it goes into our unconscious until either a parent helps us disseminate the experience, or it sits there in our unconscious until you start to unlock it. Okay. So a 13-year-old is also, it's about intimacy. It's moving into, and the age of 2 and 3 and the age of 13, they're both times of exploration. Okay. So when you're 13, you want to push away from the parents. Same thing happens when you're 2 or 3, that age group. You want to push away, but you also want to know you're safe. Same in adolescence. You want to push the parents away, but you want to know that you can come back. They're going to love you, even though you rebel, even though you tell them, oh, I hate you or you're ugly, right? There's a part of you that wants to know I'm safe. So, you know, at 4 to 7, that's a large age group that, you know, a lot of kids usually show up at 4 the first time we do this. So that's often that's the age that happens. And that's about identity, right? 3 to 4 is about who am I? Because you're starting to leave your parents' side and start to have your own, you know, you're walking and you're talking. So you have your own volition. So each stage of childhood has a particular, how would you say, there's a healthy passageway, there's a healthy learning. So my work is when I work with somebody is I say, okay, well, what happened? And then we move into the unconscious. Okay.
So cool.
Take a moment. Yeah. There's variations that we can do on this. So there's this, like I say, this is the first level.
Yeah.
We can then go in and ask for certain experiences. We can consciously go down and say, I want to heal this particular experience. You know, my sister used to comb my hair and brush it really hard, and you know, and I've got anger towards her. I don't know why. You know, I'm 40 years old. I'm still angry at my sister, but we were best friends. But why am I still angry? Well, you got to go back and you got to heal that wound from a resentment that was from childhood. Same with parents, right? And it's non-verbal. So it goes beyond psychology. It goes beyond talk therapy. And you're shifting. You're shifting the actual architecture of your programs. You're working with the building blocks energetically. You know, and your programmers will understand that kind of thing, right? It's little pieces that you're shifting.
And how many stages are there?
There are 6 stages to early childhood.
Wow.
And I'll also say there are 6 stages. This applies to business as well. Okay. So for instance, you've been in business, what, 2 years, right? 18 months. I don't even know, Nancy. So you could put this same template on your business development. Experience exactly the same things, you know, 0 to 18 months. Am I going to be rejected? And am I going to be accepted? Am I going to be safe? That's what we feel in the first 18 months of our life. Okay. Then we get footing on that. And then we go into exploratory. We get footing on that. And then we go into identity. Do I have a real business? What is the business identity? So always we could go back to these stages of childhood. Always. There's
So
always,
cool.
yeah.
And I kept on smelling eggs.
Eggs.
I don't usually smell things. This
Okay.
is the first time.
There you go. Well, because eggs might have been predominant for you as a child. Okay.
Wow.
So you can, you know, like here's some suggestions, because your children, all the children may have shown up. They may have said something, asked for something. They may not have. Yours said play. Is that when you asked her what she needed or wanted? Did she say play?
She just wanted to play, and I felt like, yes, play as much as you want, because you won't get to play later on. And then that's when I felt really sad.
Yeah, well, because that's incorrect.
Yeah.
Because what is the truth, Nancy, is in adulthood, in your mature self, your adult has to learn how to play.
Yes, that is
not with your daughter, not with your son, with yourself. So you get a crayon coloring book and you go and crayon by yourself.
Yeah, I don't play enough.
Precisely. And a lot of us that are self-employed, well, no, just period. A lot of people in adulthood, they don't know how to play anymore. And they don't like kids for that reason. It's like, that energy is too intense. So if you go back and play, or do whatever it is that the child has asked you for, there's a healing that happens.
Yes.
Internally. And that's the work. So if
That's
you
the
want
work. Yes.
to get the next level of your job, or you want a next level of leadership, I say you have to retreat in
Yeah.
order to advance.
I love that. And why is that the case?
Because it's sitting there in the unconscious.
Mm-hmm.
So you have to go back into your unconscious, work with it, heal it.
Yeah.
So then you move forward. Nobody beats the rap. Nobody. That's how we're wired. You know, this is evolution.
Yeah.
This is evolution, like you said at the beginning, and that's the word I use. You know, we're not going to have the same problems as our parents did. We have our own. Okay, we've taken some of them, we've moved them forward. Now we need to evolve to move us forward.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
And just for those people on this broadcast to know that I came from a family where there was grievous abuse. Okay, there was sexual abuse, there was violence, there was neglect. I had parental separation. There was alcoholism. I myself am a recovering alcoholic. So I didn't get born with a silver spoon in my mouth, all healthy and healed. I've overcome all of those obstacles to be able to be here today with you, you know. So if I can do it, anybody can do it. And it takes time.
Tell us how this modality came about.
Well, as I said, in 2000, I'm a recovering alcoholic. So there I was in 1997. I was bottoming out in my life. I was already a Buddhist, so I was already meditating. I was already in touch with the internal life of the interior landscape myself. But when I sobered up, that's when all my emotions showed up. I couldn't put a plug in the jug anymore. I mean, people use all kinds of things. We use work, we use money, we use sex, we use drugs, we use like to shut the feelings down.
Right.
So when I quit alcohol, it was like, wow.
It came out. Yes.
I went into therapy. I did 7 years of intensive psychotherapy. And while I was doing the therapy and the meditation, I was devising this modality, this sequence of steps for myself to heal these parts of me. Alongside, you know, and I was having guidance from a psychotherapist, I was having guidance from my spiritual teacher and the 12-step recovery program. So this began as a healing for me, and then I started using it on people, just friends, really, in recovery, and they were getting remarkable results, and I was healing very quickly. So this is where the acceleration started to happen. And then I started, so that was like 2000, and then 2006, I started using it on clients. And that's when I started really, really accelerating it. And then and I was still practicing as an accountant at that time, and I was doing spiritual work and, you know, financial work. And I said, okay, I moved to Australia. And when I moved to Australia, I said, I'm not going to take my financial work with me. I'm just going to be a spiritual teacher. And that's when I started teaching it on programs, one-on-one, en masse, big retreats, because just doing it one-on-one, that was great. People were getting a lot of, you know, bang for their buck. But when you do it in a group, you know, more people can heal quicker.
Also, there's the group energy.
The group energy, exactly.
Yeah.
So it developed slowly, but it was for my own healing. And it's continuing to develop. So like I've used this in couples counseling now. I have used this in business counseling. So it continues to grow and evolve. I haven't even begun to speak about how you change your past with it.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. So you can go in and actually change the memory, because memory has two parts. Memory has energy and memory has the visual. You can't change the visual, but you can change the energetics, right? So then you can shift back in time and change our past.
And is it enough to do this just once?
Like we're doing today? I would say no. Okay, this is just a little teaser, little taste. Right? You get way more benefit.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, like it's like anything. I mean, if you meditate once, it's, you know, you'll get a hit of something, but it's not where you get the real effect is when you continue to do it.
It's like exercising?
While exercising?
No, is it like exercising? You just
100%. Yes. It's a muscle. You know, and I like this method. I say minimum 3 times a week if you really want to see something to progress.
Oh,
Right?
yes.
Yeah. And well, you can do it every day, right? It really will accelerate your growth and healing, but 3 times a week. So we did a clinical trial on using this 3 times a week. And that's, I understand you did a clinical trial. There you go. Can you tell us about that? Yeah. So like I say, I was having amazing results with all kinds of people. And I knew this modality worked. And somebody approached me and said, well, why don't you put it to a scientific trial? And I was like, well, how do you do that? And they walked me through how you do it. And we got a cohort of 30 people from the UK and Canada and Australia for 3 months. And we had a measuring stick that we used called the Spam-Fisher questionnaire assessment to assess their mind and how it changed over the first 6 weeks, the second 6 weeks, and then at the 24-week mark. And we have significantly statistical data that people change, and a significant amount.
From what to what?
From in the 0 to 6 week mark, there's a 12% change in behaviors positively around decisiveness, around less people pleasing, around accepting compliments, around not being overly responsible for other people and their feelings. These are all what we call codependent behaviors.
I need that.
Anxiety, depression, everything lowered by 12% in the first 6 weeks. The second 6 weeks, at the 12-week marker, 20.67, so almost 21% change in 3 months on behaviors. So like huge. And then, you know, like people would say, well, yeah, but can you sustain that? Okay. So we did the 24-week markers. That's half a year. And in the latter 12 weeks, we didn't do anything. We left people all on their own. You can do it. You don't have to do it. Whatever you choose.
Yeah.
The latter 24 weeks, at that 24-week mark, there was a sustained positive change of 20%.
Did they do it on their own, or you don't know?
We don't know. Some did, some didn't.
Oh, okay. Well, now you've given them the tools, and they can regulate
precisely
on their own.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, that's amazing.
So, and it depends on who you are, you know, like if you've had severe trauma, because some of us have, you may want to do it with somebody as a witness, because so much comes up, you know, and then you don't know what to do with the information. Like, well, what does this mean? Like, you know, like Julie said, like I got a 13-year-old and a 3-year-old, like, what is that, normal? Right? It's like, you have to have, so I've certified people in the method. There's a coaching team that I have that help people discern what's going on. Okay.
I love that. What if you've had a good childhood?
I answered that earlier. Like I say, nobody beats the rap. There's societal injury. There's, you know, racial injury. There's bullying at school. Yeah. There's always impact. There's always impact. And so anybody can do this and transform even the littlest things that have, you know, you didn't get along with your sister, or, you know, whatever.
I second that. On paper, I had a good childhood. Yeah. And yet look at what happened. With tears, even when the child is, you know, like,
yeah, but he needs to be seen more. Right? Yeah. You were busy, right? You were maybe taking care of your parent. You maybe were moving, you know, like
I grew up way too fast. So I basically just skipped
there you go.
The play.
There you go.
Yeah. That's what happened.
Yeah. So that's called being parentified. You know, you grew up to be a little parent in a child body.
Yes. Yes.
And you need to go heal that now.
Yes.
That has to come. Yeah. That has to
makes total sense.
Yeah. Yeah.
Are there variations to DTM?
Yes. So I've spoken to that. You know, we go down there and we change the ending of a story. We go down there and when I work with two people, like in relationship, we can go down there and call up both the inner children and work with both of them at the same time, right? We can work with business development. So yes, there are many variations. And as I said, the one that we just did is the sort of the general, the generic, the beginning, the foundational. And then we add on to that. We always begin at the beginning.
I love that. And if someone really likes this method, how do they learn it to teach others?
Okay, so I do teach this method to people both for themselves, just use of self. So we have a program called the Unfolding Human Program.
Unfolding Human Program.
Yeah. So it's like a flower unfolding. Your psyche begins to unfold in front of you.
Mm-hmm.
And it's 3 months long, and it's modules of videos. It's self-paced. You get a wisdom coach with you, and you get this ATTM method. So you do it on your own, you watch the modules, and then once a week you get touch point with a coach so that you can get reflection back, right? So that's the non-certification level. You got to do that before you can become certified to teach it or to do it on somebody else.
Yeah.
Okay. And that level is a little bit more rigorous, and that's a 6-month course. And you have to have done the first 3 months and the second phase. Yeah.
Makes sense. Makes sense.
Yeah.
I feel so refreshed.
Well, I'm so glad.
Thank you so much. We're only 12 minutes over.
Well, and I'd love to hear from your folks who have been tapping in, that are joining us on LinkedIn or Facebook or anything. Is there any comments or thumbs up or anything from them coming through?
Let's give folks a minute, and let me also point everyone to this QR code. Tell us about this 4-step process that you're giving away for free.
Mm-hmm. Okay. We have to begin at the beginning. If you noticed, right at the beginning, I started with breathing meditation before we even led into going down the beach or going down the staircase. This little package that you can download now is a video and an audio and a workbook of basically settling your mind and noticing your breath. And the booklet has a bunch of questions that you can ask yourself every day to keep you in alignment, just to check in with your spirit every day. And the video kind of walks you through it as well.
Mm-hmm.
So that's the QR code for that little package. And then from there, there's more little goodies that come along. This is where we begin. I call it the golden morning ritual, because every millionaire, every business person who's in any leadership position always has a morning routine and morning ritual to look at their own mind. Before they take care of anybody else, they got to take care of themselves.
What if they're not a morning person?
Well, they could do it at noon.
Okay.
No, meaning it's the beginning of the day ritual. Like, I'm not a morning person, so I get it. So my morning would start at about 9 or 9:30, and I would slide out of bed and I would do this ritual, right? So the breathing meditation is 15 minutes, and it's like learning to exercise. You can't run a marathon before you learn, how to run up the street and back.
Yeah.
It's just the same thing. It's just the same
I see that people are scanning a QR code. Enjoy this gift. Enjoy the morning meditation. Enjoy the workbook. And my goal is, supported here by Angela, is to help uplift. And there's just so much anxiety and so much stress that's happening to the people around me, people in tech. And I want to bring more awareness to these tools that are not talked about enough, where we can actually help ourselves. And there's so much power just internally that we haven't yet tapped into. Most of us spend our energy focusing outwards, focusing on applying for jobs or interviews, but there's so much wisdom in here just waiting to be awakened.
Tapped into. And I'm gonna ask your participants who are watching this even now to notice how Nancy's face has changed.
Oh, tell me more.
Well, just as we're talking, I mean, without the smile, but as you break down from your smile, there was a shift in your face, which means there's a shift in your energy.
No way.
Yeah. Okay. That's a gift I have, that I can read people's energy, and I can also tap into people's energy. So I wanted just to point that out.
Oh my gosh. I have to go back and watch the replay now. We
Yes.
have a comment from Julie.
Oh, sorry. Julie. Okay. I've been reflecting this layoff. I've rediscovered play, which has been nice, just to be quiet. Yes. Yes. 100% yes. Okay. Crayoning, going to the swing set, going into the sandbox, eating ice cream. There's so many antidotes in order to heal that part of you, right?
I am so happy, Julie, that you were able to join us. It's the longest live stream I have ever done. I'm just so grateful for Angela to bring this to us, to walk us through it, to share her teachings, to share the wisdom, just everything. So much love.
Well, this is why I've been put on the planet. I mean, I suffered so deeply, and I was suicidal for a good 10, 15 years. And I said, if I can help one person not to suffer, then my life has purpose. And so I'm really happy to bring this today to you.
Hey.
Julie, I love you. Keep on, keep playing. If you want to get in touch, go to my website. That's another way people can get in touch with me. Go onto the website and put your contact details in and get on my newsletter list and all good things.
Julie says, thank you, Angela. And I say the same thing. Thank you, Angela.
All right. Well, thank you. Thank you. Thank you. And yes, thank you for the patience. Those people who've hung around. It's wonderful.
Also, I was talking way too much, and that's why we were over time.
I think
Is it okay that folks listen to the meditation part of this broadcast multiple times, or is it just like
No. Use it again and again and again.
Okay.
Absolutely. Download that piece. Absolutely.
Yes. I will chop it up. I would just take out all the chatting and just create another video, and that way we'll have it handy whenever we need to visit our.
Well, if you want to do that, then I can give you a proper. But you listen to it back and let me know.
Okay. Yay. Okay.
Studio quality version, but okay.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Cheers.
Bye.